What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Rundown with Silva. My name is Tyler Silva, and my guest today is someone very special and a little fucking naughty, if you ask me. You might know her from seeing her at shows. You might know her by the Naughty by Natty podcast. You might know her as V, Veronica, Natty, Miss Geo. Give it up for Veronica, a.k.a. Natty, from the Naughty by Natty podcast, everybody.
Hey.
What's up, girl?
Not much. What's up?
Cheers. Thanks for coming on.
I'm glad to be here.
Are you?
Yeah, I am.
So how you been?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Sounds like you've been busy. You're, chucking away at the podcast lately.
Oh, yeah.
So tell some of the people that haven't heard your podcast, explain your podcast a little bit because it's fucking interesting.
So basically my podcast is anything naughty, kinks, fetishes. I want to get more into addictions and mental health too, because I feel like a lot of kinks and fetishes kind of play a little with that.
Oh.
So you know what I mean? Like,
I don't. Can you what do you mean? I'm curious at this point.
So for me, like mental health wise, like some people that are depressed or schizophrenia or whatever, like, or have addictions to drugs or alcohol.
Okay.
Some of those people like some rough ass sex, or they like to get a little manhandled in the room, and it helps mentally.
Mentally?
In the bedroom.
So it's like a mental release and a physical release.
Yes, and I feel like a lot of people like also need drugs and alcohol sometimes to even perform, like in the bedroom, or to feel confident or comfortable with stuff.
To set the stage for this podcast a little bit, your first episode is about a fistathon. Yeah. Correct? About being fisted.
Yep.
Like, so how did you end up starting this podcast? Like, what? Like, this is a huge fucking leap. Like, from being, your husband is, behind the mic all the time, a performer, and for you to just hop into podcasting and you jumped in, cannonballed in.
Yeah.
With a huge fucking subject matter.
So it started with the Two Pimps No Hoes podcast, which was Jeremy and Dan. And Jeremy's from Cosmic Soup, who now is he has the Cosmic Soup recording podcast. So on there, I was just watching it, and I noticed that they were talking about their little sex stories here and there, and just bullshitting on there. And I was like, this is fucking great. And they would quote Wu-Tang shit, and I don't know, just all this rap music and just all this dirty stuff. So I started messaging Jeremy, and I was like, hey, I said, I have this list of, I think it's called obscene terms or something, like a dictionary of obscene terms, that I actually gathered from a place that I worked at. And somebody used it to sexually harass this chick at work, and was like, hey, if you ever want to try any of these, here you go, pick one.
Do you remember any of them?
The most recent one that I can think of, I don't know. They're too drawn out, and I'd have to look it up, honestly.
Okay.
But I mean, I can look it up on my phone.
Yeah, if you have it, I want to know, for sure.
But what I was saying is, so basically, I would send those to Jeremy. I asked him if it was okay, since they were already talking sexual. So I was like, what if I send you these things every week, and it could be a little segment that you read, right. Dirty terms or whatever. And so it started off that, and then him and Dan stopped doing the Two Pimps No Hoes podcast, and it was just Jeremy. And I was like, hey, do you still want me to send you these, even though it's completely different? And he's like, yeah, go for it. So then I was joking one day in the feed, and I was like, I'm gonna start my own podcast and yada yada yada. And he's like, well, if you do that, then nobody's gonna want to listen to ours, because that's
the bread and butter.
Yeah. So I still send him the stuff, but I'll only use the things that I've already I let him use them first, because that's where it started. So I don't go and use the same ones until after I've already sent them to him first. So a little example right here. Let's see.
I'm sure everyone's waiting for an example right now, especially if you've never heard the podcast. The first episode, I fucking fell in love with the podcast for sure. It was funny. It was eye-opening. It was everything. You definitely have a little bit of everything. But go ahead and read what you got.
All right. So the first one's brown bagging it. which most people know what this is, but
I don't.
Yeah. Sometimes you meet a girl with the body like there's no tomorrow, but a face like a mangy dog. Don't let that body go to waste and let her hideousness stop you from fucking her, though. Just draw the smiley face on a brown paper bag, place it over her head, and fuck away while keeping your composure and peace of mind.
Nice.
That's one.
Do you have any more examples, please?
Yeah, so
I got a list.
so this one is, I have a lot on here actually. The bait and tackle, like fishing. The sailors used this one in the old Navy days. Before you go off for a long, lonely voyage, get yourself a tall jar and fill it completely with earthworms. When you get lonely, open the jar and fuck away. The earthworms will provide some slithery stimulation, and your protein load will keep them nicely fed. Gone fishing.
Holy shit! What's this you got here, Justin?
It's the Alaskan pipeline, Bubba.
Could you read that down for us, please?
Yeah, it's the act of pooping in a condom, freezing the rubber overnight, and then inserting it into one's anus. This was invented at the University of Iowa by Brian and Andy S. in 2001.
Wow. This is a very new world to me.
Dude.
I'm still fascinated by this earthworm one. Like, the fact that you get to fuck these earthworms. By the way, if you are under the age of 18, stop watching right now. You should not be watching. You should not be watching. All of my videos are labeled that they're not for kids.
Explicit.
Yeah.
Silva, how many times when you were under the age of 18 then you say that, yeah, I'm 18 to get on those sites, huh?
Moving on.
You want one more?
Yes, please. This is fucking fantastic.
So this one actually is called beef curtain, which everyone knows what a beef curtain is, but it's just great.
Please enlighten me.
Everybody
Example.
knows what that is? Who the fuck knows that?
Enlighten us, please.
Roast beef pussy. Nobody knows what that term is. Nobody's talking
like a
about
beef
it.
and cheddar.
Curtain.
Beef and cheddars.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
pussy lips.
not beef curtains. Never
Alright,
fucking heard
You've
that.
never heard that?
No.
Damn. Okay, so here we go. Beef curtain. The shanked out remains of the labia after being stretched like Play-Doh from an hour or so of Jimmy Jam.
Jimmy Jam?
Jimmy
I'm calling
Jam.
it that from now on.
Do you know what's so funny is like when I think of Play-Doh, I just think about like rolling it, until it's like a big ass snake.
But then you do.
That's like Silly
stretch
Putty.
it.
They should rename it Silly Putty for sure,
Yeah.
or something like that. So how do you find this shit? Like, does it find you?
Well, like I said, so a friend, coworker of mine from where I used to work at, this dude came in, he was fucking creepy, used to hit on everyone, creepily, like, stalk them, and sexually harass them. Well, he printed out this thing, stapled it, it's pretty big, it's just pieces of paper stapled with all these fucking terms. Well, I was, like, somebody that had to report it because I was like a higher up person, like, okay, I got to like write a report about this, blah, 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 blah. So
What a fun report to write.
I went and made my own copy of it and took it home because I thought it was fucking gold.
That's
and I
the
was like,
responsible HR rep.
I'm not going to let this shit not go to my fucking house because it's fucking amazing.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and I've literally had it for like 4 or 5 years, and finally some uses came out of it.
That's so fucking. Do you still have like the original like paper and everything, like the
Yeah,
copies
it's
that you made?
stapled.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, there's probably about 13, 14 pages, but there's like quite a bit on each page.
Tell us about a few of the guests that you've had on, because you've had some guests now.
Most of the guests so far are people that I know.
Okay.
I wanted to get a stranger on there at one point, and I'm trying to still get people that I don't really know.
Put out the
But-
message. What do you want?
I actually need someone that is very into BDSM. And actually, I got that idea from you.
From me?
Yes.
Sorry, Gio.
Well, because I remember at one point you were talking about.
Yeah, I want to
know.
have a sex worker on the podcast as well. You know,
Yes.
I think it'd be a really awesome person to have on. I guess the guest hasn't come to me yet, and I've gone looking and things like that, and want to
Wasn't
find.
what you're looking for.
I just want to find the right person, someone that is fucking cool, experienced. You know, I've talked to you about it, but you know, this podcast is supposed to be fun conversation, and I want to make sure I can have a fun conversation with whoever this person is without pissing them off or offending them or anything like that. Because I try to tread lightly, but I start drinking.
Yeah.
You know,
Same. Like, even though, like, when I record by myself, like, I am still drinking because I am still nervous, like, talking, even though nobody's there watching me. I can literally, like, pause, stop, edit all this stuff, but I'm still nervous because it's still, like, I'm talking to people. And, yeah. But back to the BDSM thing is I had this lady that backed out at the last minute, and she was going to be on the first episode, and that's why I went a different route. She was probably like in her 70s, so she had a lot of shit to talk about that she knew, and I sent her the questions and everything, and she was down, but then she's like, oh, I don't think I can do it, but if you want, check out this book. Yada, yada, yada. Like, she just totally backed out. She's like, I'm an old woman now. Like, I have grandkids. And now I just lightly play with it, me and my husband. And it's funny because I looked her and her husband up on, like, Facebook. And they're, like, the typical, like, grandparents. And you're like, what the fuck? They're, like, posing with their little wiener dogs, like, all cute. And I was like, oh, my God. Like, can you imagine how many of our grandparents or aunts or uncles or whatever that you don't want to picture is just out there getting all fucking, like, spanked and, like, whips and whatever the fuck, dude. Like, dude, just to picture it. And it's at that age.
Yeah, that's why I really like your podcast too, because it is very much like what is behind closed doors. You know what I mean? Like that's a very awesome lane that you've chosen to take, and I think that there's so much to expand on when it comes to your podcast. You know, so much to learn, so much to.
Yes, there's a lot.
Yeah. So I'm sorry to circle back, but a little bit of your guests, it's people you know. Like, have your guests? What are your guests typically like? I mean, are they like commenting on a story? Or are they like talking about their own personal experiences?
It just depends on what people are comfortable with. I'll ask them if they want to talk about a story or their personal, or if they just want to, like, me read these questions or a story and then they like answer it, because some people don't want to talk about their sex life. You know what I mean? They want to keep that, you know, on the DL.
Mine is just like me, you know, short and sweet, for sure.
Yeah.
That's like of some of my sex life, but it is fun.
So, like, you're a 2-pump chump? Short and sweet?
I'm the 7-pump Silva. And don't forget it.
You could have at least said 17.
I am the 1700 pump Silva in 7 seconds.
Okay, Mr. Rodeo.
But anyways, it's your podcast is so much fun. Like, it's such a fun time. What have you learned through this podcast so far?
I've learned that there's a lot of shit out there that I want to try.
Really?
Yes.
Would you like to share?
So, first of all, I haven't really got somebody to fully give me the details of BDSM, but I've always been into that.
Right.
But I got to speak with somebody in my life about it because they're not really down for it.
Really?
My husband's just not really into, like, pain.
He's scared. But you are into giving pain, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, so, like, I could be his slave. You
Ah,
know what I mean?
see.
But
Okay.
he doesn't even like to do that. Like, he doesn't want to receive it. And he doesn't want to, like, give pain. So he's very, like, don't get me wrong. He's amazing in bed.
I'm
like,
sure, but
we
it
do
sounds
some
like
freaky shit. We
sounds
just
like he
don't,
cares. You know what I mean?
we-
Like,
yeah, he cares about me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, shit's good there. But it's just I want to do more things because, like, I'm getting older. And, like, there's a lot of shit I haven't experienced. And the more I hear about all this shit, I'm like, that kind of is a turn on. Like, it sounds like it'd be fun. Like, even just to try it. And if I don't like it, cool. But he might like it, and it might, like, spice up our relationship. You know what I mean?
And you think that's why people, like, start going to these kinks? Like, do you think these kinks, or, you know, I guess kinks is the best word, but these kinks, do you think they start to develop as you're older because of something that you've always wanted, or like do you realize you want it over time? What have you learned about these kinks? That's like a real question of mine. And because like when I lost my virginity, the last thing I was thinking about was some girl sticking a finger in my ass. You know what I mean? It's the last thing I was thinking about. But
Well, I don't know what it is, honestly, because I've always been like a freak, I guess. And I've always had a perverted mind. I always think of like the most outrageous bullshit. That's why I wanted to start the podcast, because you say one little thing that sounds like it's dirty, I'm going there. And I'm sure it gets fucking annoying, especially my husband, because he has to hear it all fucking day. So I just was like, I'm perfect for this fucking podcast. But I don't, like, as I gotten older, yes, I've been like more comfortable with things, and then I'm just learning more things that I never would have thought of. Mind you, like, I grew up in the 90s, so... Like, shit was, like, the most porn you got was, like, Cinemax late at night at, like, 2 a.m. And then the hot
softcore
girl,
porn, yeah.
The fucking phone lines. You know what I mean?
Oh,
The 800 numbers, like, the sexy commercials, which my mom had a fat-ass bill when I was younger, and she thought it was her man or my brother, and it really was me.
Get the fuck out of here.
I swear. And I was super young. Like, young.
And you were talking to like
I was like a child talking to like old dudes on like a fucking sex hotline fucking phone call.
How old were you?
I don't even want to say it.
No, you're going to say it. Like, how old were you?
I probably was like 8.
Really?
8 or 9.
That's when I found.
I was pretty fucking young.
You know, like that's when I found my dad's Playboy, and like shit changed for me then for sure. I was like, those are tits.
Yeah.
Those are tits, and that is bush. And, you know, then the internet comes into play, and we're finding all sorts of shit. The internet has definitely been a wild one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, how old are you? I mean, excuse me. We're probably the same age.
I'm 34.
Are you really?
Mm-hmm.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, yeah, I'm 34.
I'm like almost 30s. Okay, so we're the same age nearly. You know what I mean? Within 4 or 5 years. So, you know, porn was like very like rare, like we were talking about. You know, you had to stay up till 2 a.m. on Cinemax. You know, see softcore porn.
Yeah.
And like now, it's in the palm of everyone's fucking hand at any point in time, and there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it, and there's a lot of different shit out there.
It's crazy shit.
Is there any been like what catches you off guard now? Or what has caught you off guard?
Fun fact is I actually don't watch porn.
Really?
Really. And if I do, it's once maybe every 6 months to 8 months, and it's usually honestly like 2 chicks eating each other out. Like that's the only thing of porn that like turns me on.
Is that your thing right there? Lesbian porn?
I am very bisexual.
Yeah.
But I'm married to a man, so but of
course.
I like women.
Live vicariously through porn, you know what I mean?
So like that's literally the only thing that turns me on. But I don't watch porn at all. I read about shit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't like watch it.
So when it comes to your reading, like how do you outsource like you have this, you know, pad of paper or whatever, you know, the notes that you copied and things like that. But you must continue to outsource for this type of reading and literature and events.
Books, and a great place for like porn and a lot of like talk like this is Reddit.
Oh, just Reddit.
Reddit's crazy, dude.
I've heard that Reddit's
There's a
pretty
lot
wild.
of rules though. Like when you post on stuff, you need to go on every little like group or whatever. Like I'm still trying to figure it out. Like you can't post one little thing without them like blocking your shit or like taking a post down. Like it's very, very strict. But I have to pee really bad.
Yeah, you want to go pee?
Yeah.
We can go. You go pee, and we're gonna bring some shit up real quick while you do that. Okay?
All right.
So go for it, Justin. I think I had it up on Facebook, but Naughty by Natty has a group right now where they are asking questions and shit like that. Can you get that prep for us?
Yeah, gotcha.
Sick. This is some crazy shit, everybody. This is some fucking wild shit. I don't like. Her first episode is about a fistathon.
Yeah, that was...
Like, that's a real fucking thing. Like, where people are learning how to be fisted. And
It's like a train.
yeah, it's wild. It's like a fucking train. It's someone training you. What are some of the questions that we got up there right now, Justin? First question. What is something people think / do that is sexy but is not? What does that mean?
I have no fucking idea.
Does that mean like you think you're being sexy, like showing off your abs?
Maybe. What is something people think / do is sexy but is not? So like what? Yeah, I guess like that's what it is. Like I don't know who this dude is, Evan, but he says
That's
kink
Evan from
shaming.
Skull Drunk, baby.
Well, it's okay. So Evan over here says kink shame. I don't know anybody that kink shames and goes, "That's what women want."
I could see that. I mean,
Really?
Well, I could see it to an extent, right? So like you can say like kink shaming, right? Kink shaming, like I'm not doing that shit. That's gay. Like oh man, he's masculine. He's like that's the alpha male over there. So they think they're being fucking hot.
Well, I mean like. I don't know what name we're calling her right now, but Veronica even commented. She's like, people think that's sexy. Like, who thinks that kink shaming sexy? Who hears that and goes, that's what people are looking for?
Probably those dudes that stormed the Capitol.
Maybe.
Like they probably think that's pretty sexy. Kink shaming.
Thomas says touching his nipples. People think that's sexy, but it's not. People should not touch Thomas's nipples. You should check out of that one real quick, ladies.
I think touching your
Or
nipples
men.
as a male is probably not as sexy as some women think. Or maybe not. Like when I touch my nipples, I don't feel very sexy. I mean, I feel sexy to myself.
I mean, I can tell you right now,
But-
from my personal experience, was like, as a man, you suck on titties. Well, I had one experience where a woman sucked on my tits, and I was like, I don't like this. This isn't cool. I don't know why you would do this to me.
You don't like women sucking on your titties?
No, not at all. It's not my thing.
I'm actually really insecure about my titties too. Not like insecure, but like, as kids, like, we all would just go up and give each other purple nurples. So like, I feel like my nipples are heavily damaged.
Yeah, no, I get that. They're way too sensitive for that. You can't be doing that shit.
Yeah. So we're just going over some of your questions that you have up here on your Facebook group.
Okay.
So this is one that we just brought, the first one. Like, what is something people think / do that's
Is
sexy,
sexy.
but is not?
Does that question make sense though? Because I did not know how to.
I get what you're asking. Like people do some shit that they think is sexy, but to everybody else they go, no, that's not it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, like, he said that Evan said kink shaming. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and he was like, who thinks that's sexy? I was like, probably dudes that storm the Capitol or wear MAGA hats or something. Or like, like, oh, I'm not doing that. That's gay. Like, if my girl ever did that to me, like,
Yeah.
they have to be like the alpha male so they feel like they're being like, sexy, like more
Yeah.
attractive and shit like that. Was there something that came to your mind, like when you posted this question?
I think I actually put a comment on there.
What did you put?
Well, hold on. I'll try and find it.
Hold on.
Let's
You
see.
guys talk among yourself for a second.
Yeah, Justin's gonna look up this, but I love this group that you have going, and I encourage like everyone's available to join it, right? The Naughty
Yeah,
by
I made
Natty
it public.
crew. Oh, perfect. You get a lot of
wish-
fucking love on this.
I know. I was surprised because honestly, when I was just like asking questions on my just Facebook or posting the podcast, I didn't really get a lot of feedback. Nobody was emailing me when like if people were listening, but I have a lot of listeners, so I'm like, okay, what is going on? So, and then somebody listened to my podcast and was like just
Okay, yeah, nope, we found
posting
it.
on my actual podcast, like on my page, and was like reviewing the episode. So I was like, I'm going to put this on here because if you're going to be reviewing my episodes, let's do it on here, not my like personal.
I like, yeah,
You
of
get
course.
what I'm saying? So
of
that's
course.
why I did it.
Go ahead and read that down for us, Justin.
So your comment on it was, when men flop / spin their dick around like a helicopter or smack it against their legs. Funny? Hell yes. Sexy? Hell no.
Which my husband does all the time.
Does he?
It's gotta be hard to
Yes.
do with 2 inches.
I'm like,
I'm so cautious with my penis because one time my penis got caught in a fan.
oh my God.
I'm sorry. Hold on. No, we have to delve into this now.
Yeah. So
You need a sound effect of,
so I had just like a little, fan for the room, right? Like one that you'd put on like your face, or like,
Or your dick.
or your, well, no, I would hope not. But the cover of it was so dusty. So I'm like, I got to take this off, clean it. And I put it out in the back. I'm like, I'll clean it in a bit. Didn't clean it. So it was like, it was dark and I was getting ready for work. The fan's going and I'm like, I got to, take a shower. So I fucking stripped down and I just go and swing real quick. And I like tripped because my dick is so heavy. But,
you're bottom heavy.
yeah. But anyways, like, and thank God, like, it was on, like, low. It's not like a metal fan or anything.
Oh, yeah.
But I was like, and I was like, and like, I have, it was frightening. It was more scary than painful. I mean, it did hurt, for sure. But, like, that was not so chill. So, like.
That was not a good time.
No, I like, I'm always, like, wearing pants to bed and shit like that. Not pants, but, like, I never go to bed naked anymore.
Yeah, no,
or anything. I'm scared. And, like, when I was a kid, too, I remember very, very vividly as a kid, I go to this fucking, like, first dance in, like, middle school, you know? And lights go down, and all of a sudden, the chicks are like, lights are off, let's be sluts. And so, like, you know, what do we listen to? Like, do the window, do the wow. And all of a
To the
sudden,
strip or whatever. I don't know.
this girl...
To the drip slips down my balls.
Well, dude, I'm a kid here, and this girl is grinding on my boner. Like, it's happening. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so close to what I'm envying.
Yeah.
Well, my little guy had escaped my boxers, and the rock hard tip of it had found the zipper of my jeans.
E.
And I had a fucking scab on the tip of my dick.
Well, yeah, you
goddamn.
basically
The
pushed
next
it into
day.
a cheese grater.
Oh my God, it hurt so bad. Now I wear velvet boxers, really nice things, zip tie 'em closed, you know, things like that. But, yeah, the helicopter thing is scary to me now. I'm afraid that, like, if I swing my dick anywhere, it's going to get caught in something. It's frightening. What are some other of those questions that you find on there, Justin? Find some more for us.
Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry I interrupted you with that song because that's like my fucking song, dude. As soon as that song comes on, just like that fucking shot song. Like, even if I'm not taking shots.
Shot.
Fucking, yes, it's like bullshit. Like, to the window, to the wall, to the sweat drops down my ball. I couldn't think of what it was.
Yeah.
All these bitches crawl.
Is that just the trigger?
And the skeet, motherfucker. And I remember from Dave Chappelle, dude, when he would go skeet. I always think of, like, skeet as, like, somebody jizzing in a chick's face.
Oh, I can't.
Anytime you hear skeet, it's like...
If you're thinking about the sweat dripping down to your balls, you know, skeet's not too far off. You know, skeet is not too far off if your balls are sweating. With all these ladies in the club and whatnot.
Some
Question
sweat skeet.
2. What is the dumbest reason you or someone else has broken up with you? Whew. That was an interesting... That's pretty deep.
That's why I was like, this one's kind of like fucking...
This one kind of hits the feelings.
Yeah.
This one kind of definitely hits the feelings.
I actually, my next episode coming up on Tuesday, which is CUNT, we talk about this one on there, and I
Really?
actually mentioned the guys' first names
Oh,
for
that's
the
right.
dumbest reasons why they broke up with me.
We were talking
So
about...
they're blasted.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're friends with me on Facebook. I actually sent one a friend request just to see. Because I want him to fucking hear it, dude.
Fuck
You
yeah.
little bitch.
Be fucking spiteful. Let's go.
I actually wrote what it was from one of them on here.
Really? Do you mind if we read it? I know that
Go
some
for
of
it.
your...
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That was like 20 years ago. If he's gonna get all butt hurt, I don't care.
The dumbest thing that I have ever been broken up for
On the
was
very
the
bottom.
dude pre-cummed. Fuck yeah.
But keep going down.
Oh, scroll, please. And he pre-cummed... by pre-cum...
And by pre-cummed, I mean that he literally just jerked himself off.
No, I
Shut-
jerked him off.
No,
But he
sh-
like pre-cum like literally as soon as
Okay.
I put my hand on his dick.
Okay, and mind you, this was freshman, sophomore year in California. Sad thing was he was embarrassed, but I felt like I accomplished something amazing. Which, like, honestly, like,
Yeah, I
that's
was
how
like,
you
hell
should
yeah,
see
I'm
it.
hot as
That's
fuck.
how you should
like,
see
I
it.
felt like, dude, I barely touched you, and you're like fucking American Pie, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
if
What does he say
anything,
right there? He's like, I have reserves.
You should take that as a compliment.
That's
I can
what
see.
I was
can
doing.
see as he can go like, like fuck, like that kind of sucks. But also at the same time, like, you're just too damn hot. I couldn't help it. Like,
Well, he's a freshman or sophomore. Like, he's probably
that's
just getting
true.
his
That's
dick
true. Like, this is
touched.
like his first experience with anything.
But he was like, I was so disappointed because he was like so cute and he was like a skater and he was so sexy. And, like, I don't know. Yeah, I had a love crush on this motherfucker. Like, we could have got married. No offense, babe. I love you so much. But this is back when I was.
But when I was
But
a
you don't
freshman...
come when I
14.
touch your dick.
When I was a freshman, I saw my whole life with him
But
already.
yeah, But then he broke up with me, and I was devastated. So you can fuck off. Like I always say on my podcast, you can fuck right the fuck off.
Yeah, Joseph.
Yeah.
Martin.
Ooh, okay, we throwing shade today.
No, he like I said, nobody's gonna see this. I guarantee. Like he literally hated me after that. He wouldn't talk to me. He wouldn't look at me. He stopped coming around, like our house, because he was friends with my cousin, and that's how I met him. And everyone would like come over and like smoke weed. Like it was a chill house.
Yeah.
He literally stopped coming around after that. I wasn't gonna tell anyone. He must have embarrassed himself, and he was just like so embarrassed, like he didn't show his face again. He's a little bitch.
I'll tell you right now, I have pre-cummed many times and not embarrassed about it. I'm like, yep, it still works. You know?
But hey, Martin, if you're listening, if you want to explain yourself, that'd be great, because everyone's got that, like, I wonder why the fuck. Like, was it me? Was it you?
And you can tell
you
everybody
can,
on the Naughty by Natty podcast that
You can
comes
say
out
what
every
it was.
Tuesday.
You could say I was a fucking psychopath and I was crazy obsessed with you, and that's why you dumped me. I don't know. Just, I want to know answers. He can redeem himself, what I'm saying, because I talked a lot of shit about him.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Damn. So this is, I feel like this podcast is very empowering for you too. I mean,
we
not
throw
just like
shade
for
real
you,
quick?
but like
I
for
got
other
stories
people.
for days.
Are we allowed to throw shade real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. This is your group, so I'm taking permission from you. Cinnamon Harris, I just want to throw some shit out there. She said that she got broke up with because she liked sex and he didn't. He's gay. It has nothing to do with him not liking sex. He's gay.
Maybe.
The funny thing is, like, I kind of hope it's not the person I think she was talking about. I'm not gonna say their fucking name at all.
Yeah, we might blank out a few names.
Not on this podcast. I will not say the name, but yeah. I hope he's not gay.
You know that. Well, you know.
I mean, if he is, cool. That's fine.
Sometimes
that
too,
is fucking weird.
I'm just trying to say that it's not that he doesn't like sex. He just likes sex with dicks.
Well, who knows? Like, we know we're talking about all these
Maybe
different kinks and shit. It might be sex with like more rope. It might be.
She might just be too sexual.
That could be a thing too.
You know what I mean? Because she's a little freak.
What guy says no to sex, though?
A lot of guys.
Yeah, guys
Gay
definitely
guys.
say no.
Gay
That's
guys.
not true.
Absolutely, gay guys.
Okay,
That's not true. Gay guys love sex too.
but guys that
But with women, that's what I'm saying. They say no to sex with women.
Well, now you're just like getting down to the nitty gritty. Of course, a gay guy doesn't want to have sex with a
guys
woman.
say no once in a
That's what
while.
I'm saying here. That's my whole point.
I know.
Doesn't mean he
it-
doesn't like sex.
I know it's usually the woman that doesn't want to have sex, but there's times where guys are probably like, "Oh, fuck that, dude. I'm too tired." Like usually I want to fuck and I'm like all up on your shit, but tonight I'm just not into it.
Yeah,
but
I've
then
got-
it makes us women feel like shit. 'Cause it's like, God damn it! Like I never want to do it, and then when I tried, now I feel like a fucking loser, and I'm
I've
not
had too
sexy.
many
'cause
beers
you
and
turned
fucking-
my ass down.
Dude, I've definitely had too many beers and worked like 12-hour days and like not been as sexy as I could have been for sure. Like,
Yeah.
that's for sure. And then when the weekend comes around, I try to make up for it, you know, if I can or whatever. But I've definitely had those days for sure. I'm like, if I try to give you sex right now, you are going to be disappointed. Like,
It's
we
just
can
like
put Bailey on the mic.
couple.
it's okay. I heard she's going to be on another mic here soon. But
You heard?
maybe.
God damn you.
This is a crazy ass journey you've taken. I really like where you're going with it. Can you tell us a little bit about like, so you just had you're starting to have guests,
Mm-hmm.
and I really like that. And I haven't got a chance to listen to your last episode, but could you give us like a little brief, you know, just vocal trailer of how it goes down or who you have on?
The last, the
believe-
most recent that hasn't came out episode, or the one that's already out?
I want to say the one that's already out. Let's start there. How about that?
Wait, what was the question?
Just tell us a little bit how it goes down without giving too much of it away.
Okay. So basically, I interview somebody who is an active stripper / dancer. And I say dancer because that's a nicer term of it, because I used to dance when I was like 21. But dancer to me is just topless, not full nude. To me, that's a stripper. But, I mean, you're still stripping off your top. But either way, dancer's a nicer term of saying it. But yeah, basically I interview someone and I ask her 13 questions, because that's my thing. If I have a guest in specific for a category that I'm asking, it's 13 questions. Like, that's a segment that I've started. But she just gives her her opinion on stuff. Like, one of the questions is like, have you ever danced with like for somebody that stunk, like that smelled like rank?
Oh, man.
Basically.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. So most of the questions are off of like things that I experienced. So I was like, oh, I got this. Like, I could think of so much shit. I asked her if she drank while she worked, because that job is a really hard job to do sober.
I can imagine.
So it's, yeah.
Definitely imagine.
But yeah, it's basically 13 questions of life in a stripper's life at the club.
You say you danced briefly when you were 21?
Yep.
Well, like, you mind if I ask what that's like? Is that too touchy?
No.
So
Actually, talk about it on episode 6 a little
perfect. So you said like guys that stunk. Were you drinking when you did it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I have no, like, confidence whatsoever unless I have a little bit of alcohol in my system.
Preaching to the choir.
Because anyone that's ever met me, like, in the punk scene, like, if I'm sitting there and I'm quiet and I have resting bitch face, it's probably because I'm sober. That's all it is. And I'm in my head. You give me a couple drinks, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm loose. Like, I'm down to talk to people. I have something to say now.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I have to drink on stage. I mean, you see it
Yeah.
all the time, but like I have to have some drinks before I go on stage.
It's to, like, calm that...
For me,
the thoughts, for me, like, just overthinking shit.
well, for me, like I'm not really like overthinking. I'm just like I want to just be more like comfortable.
Lively.
Like, yeah, I want to be more lively. I'm like, you know what, help? Some Jameson, like, or some beers, or like just to get the blood flowing a little bit, you know, because usually, like, when we play shows, like, a lot of us have either worked that day or, you know, had like a grind to like do some practice before then. You know, you've been through it now, but you know, sometimes show days are a little bit of work, you know.
I stress just as much as you guys, and I'm not even in the fucking band. It's sad.
Well, we see you fucking putting shit out there. Like, we
Well,
see
because
you.
I'm like, I just want them to have a really good show, and like, I hope they all sound good. Because like, if you guys sound good and you like kill it, and the audience is like hyping you guys up, like, I feel like that is like great for you guys.
And it feels good
like,
to be back,
yeah,
too.
instead of like, you know, like,
Of course.
negative shit.
Yeah, no one wants to come off stage, and you know, I'm sure we've all had. You've seen those days too, but when you come off stage, you're like, "What the fuck?" You know what I mean? Like, those days happen. Hope, you know, we can always hope that they happen more often than not. I only have like a handful of them, which I'm happy to say. You know, where
Yeah.
I got off stage and I'm like, you know, it could have been better, but like we fucking did great. And like if we didn't, you know, that's like a whole nother thing. Like we're like, what the fuck just happened? Like I
Right.
broke 2 strings, like I couldn't hear shit, or, you know, there's so many. You know, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, it is us. But, you know, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And, like, when they go wrong, we feel it.
Right. I don't know. I've been with Gio for 8.5 years now, and I think he started the band a year and a half after we were together. So
Were you ready to
I've just
jump
been
into
in a
that
little-
lifestyle? Like, it's cool
Oh,
to... No? Were you not ready for it?
no, because I had a son, a 1.5-year-old when I met him. And, yeah, I was going through a divorce, and, like, because I was 26 when I met Alex, and he was 21.
Oh, wow.
So, like, I met him right when I was getting, like, shit-faced, going to the fucking bar every night, just like, oh, fuck love. Like, I give up completely. Like, fuck all this love shit. I'll never get married again, yada, yada, yada. And here I am, married again. But
8 years later,
I'm
though.
not unhappy. Like, I'm happy. Like, this is my fucking person. So, yeah, like, the whole band shit is just crazy. Like...
Did it catch you off guard when, like, you were first starting to be with him and things like that?
No, like, I didn't know how much talent he had, like, 'cause I just had met him. Like, actually, I remember he tried to, like, invite me. Like, I think when we first met, he was, like, in a metal band called Hargraves.
Wow.
From, like, some fucking movie. I
Jesus,
can't think what
Gio,
movie it
save
is.
some pussy for the rest of us.
Right?
A
He was
metal
playing
band?
bass in a metal band. And he had, like, a
Whoa.
mohawk and shit. And, like, so basically, like, I found that out after we started dating. But anyways, fucking, that shit wasn't really a thing. It was just like a whatever. And I remember he'd always try to get me to go to his practices. It's like, nah, I'll pass. Because I'm not really a metal person anymore. I was when I was younger, kind of, but I've always been into punk rock. So I was like, I don't know. That's not my shit. Like, I'll go and drink a shitload of fucking beer and, like, hang out. But other than that, like, I'm really not, I don't want to go.
I think it's hard to look cool doing metal sometimes. Not that metal's not great, but, like, those guys have to be intricate and shit like that. Like, they have to be really good at what they're doing.
Dude, it's really hard to look cool in these pants.
I think it looks pretty fucking cool.
Really?
Wait a minute, what's the crop top
Right.
over there? Yeah, can we,
that's what I'm saying. Like, really? You think he looks
There
pretty
we go.
fucking cool?
Dude, so you posted a question on your page that was what style of clothing do you find
Oh,
attractive?
hold on,
And
hold
someone
on.
put men's crop tops.
Those pants are
This one right here?
actually what we got, what
fuck me.
he married me in. It's part of his suit.
Dude, shut the fuck up. He did
Yeah,
not marry
those
it.
pants.
Did he really?
Wait,
Yeah,
these
it was-
pants?
Yep, and he has a matching top. You guys
Oh,
have
yes,
seen
I
him wear
have.
it to shows.
You know
and
what's so
shit.
crazy is like I feel like I seen your wedding photos and I didn't even put that together.
Dude, he wears those to shows. Like,
Oh,
he wore
yeah.
it to the hammies and shit.
I was so fucked up at the hammies. I was so
Yeah,
fucked
hammies
up.
was a rough
When
night.
are we not fucked up at the hammies?
Well, that was my first hammies, and it was my first time playing it. But like, I'm not saying like to my defense, but I had just come from my cousin's funeral, and like
Aw.
I was like really not that chill, so I got pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
I really like. I needed everyone that was there, and it was so fucking cool that everyone was there. I know we put on like a super shitty show with Rundown Roommates, but like I was in a pretty rough state of mind and just wanted to like kind of forget about shit and be with, celebrate life, And it was tough. I was just getting fucked up. I was sad. I was fucking trying to be happy, and you guys, everyone there was making me ridiculously happy. I was really happy to be on stage. I know I sounded like shit, but I'll take it for that. Right?
Right.
That was a really tough one for sure, but I was so that's something that the punk rock scene like is, ooh, there
Sorry,
we
I had
go.
to do that because you got too serious.
Hey, get it out.
Yeah, if only CJ could close his legs.
Hey, that's terrible.
But
Wait, who?
nothing.
Who?
CJ from the couch, everybody.
CJ from the couch, everybody.
Just kidding. I just
Um,
pulled a Geo and I totally fucking did not fucking nail that fucking joke at all.
But I was in a rough state of mind that show. That was the last bad show I felt like I really played.
I feel like every show that you have is a bad show.
Thank you, Justin.
No,
Thank you so fucking much.
So, about that. Just kidding. No, Tyler has been fucking killing it. The whole band. The last
no,
three
it-
shows. Oh my God.
What was it?
And
Last
I
Friday?
just say the last three shows.
I think we only played two, right?
My other thing is like last.
I'm saying since you guys have played in general.
Oh yeah, whatever
As
our
a
last
band,
show was, we did play well.
The
Yeah.
last three have been amazing. You've killed every fucking
The last
show.
one that you guys played was the one that I've seen, and like you guys were pretty fucking sound. Like you did pretty good, especially like with like having a new drummer come in and like trying to deal with that whole thing. Like you guys did fucking great.
Dude, the last one that we just played for TV Tragedies album release at Yucca, that was so much fucking
oh my
fun.
God. There were so many people there.
There were so many people there. I could not believe how many people were fucking participating. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, not that everyone doesn't, but like, it was just a different kind of energy. And like, it was like, we felt very loved. And not that like we don't feel loved, like when we're playing for our fans and everything,
Yeah.
but like, this was like a whole nother level of love. We can tell that like a lot of people fucking miss shows for one. That was a huge thing. Like we knew right then, like, dude, a lot of people miss shows. Like, and as time went on, we're like just in that set, we're like, we got to go harder and like harder. And like,
Yeah.
we were just fucking like all of a sudden, like there was no difference between the crowd and us because we were just fucking vibing with
Dude,
each other over noise.
Everyone knew every fucking song, every lyric. Everybody was getting into the whole thing. Like, usually, like from before, like when like Alex would like fucking sing Geo, and do the whole like back and forth shit. Like people were actually on time.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't even have to tell the crowd with that fucking song, like, oh, this is what you do, and then you fucking do it. Like people were already doing it, and I like say that on the live video. I was like, we already fucking know the song, and it was funny because like I don't know, that was the best time it actually happened. Like, cause he tried to do that in like Havasu, but those are strangers. But it's still fucking, it was fucking
Yeah.
awesome because they still participated. But like That Yucca show was fucking
The Yucca show
amazing.
was nuts, dude. That was
like everyone singing your guys' songs, like that many people knowing your fucking like the music was like what the fuck? Like this is like the craziest.
We stayed, me and Bailey, like we stayed till like probably 3:30 in the morning just saying bye to people. Like we stayed till the venue was fucking empty, just like thanking people for fucking coming. It was, oh my God, I missed it so much, you know? Like, what better way to fucking just come back into playing shows again and the Yucca being the Yucca again. And I mean, I feel like every show that we go to, I just see another face that I haven't seen in over a year. And I like the excitement that I get is fucking ridiculous, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I love it so much. What was the start of this ride for you? Like, being this kind of like band wife and band mom, like,
what do you mean?
I mean, you like you're saying, you know, this.
I feel like that was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, you know, Gio was just starting bands when you guys had got together, and now, like the difference from like then to now, you're a huge backbone behind this. You know, like walk us through a little bit of that journey because that's a lot of curiosity. It can't be easy.
There's a lot of stuff that I really don't want to put out there for everyone to hear, but it was very hard doing it, and most of the members did not fucking like me, like from day one. Like Alex Simmons actually is my ex-boyfriend from high school, for one, and I completely fucking hated him, appalled him. Not gonna get into it.
Of course, that's just drama.
In my opinion, he was a POS. Like I get along with him now here and there because of my husband. I brought him back into my life. Woo! Anyways, but yeah, he's a cool guy or whatever. But anyways, like just literally nobody in that entire band liked me. So it was kind of like eventually we formed a bond like over the years because I think they just had this image from like Gio's perspective, like when we get in a fight or whatever.
Right.
So whatever. Yeah, it was really hard. Anyways, as time went on, I think like we became a family and it was fun time. Like I loved being a part of it and like touring and doing the shit. And I put a lot of money into like just helping them like get the shit going and do it because like I had faith in them. And like Alex, I knew like it made him happy. Like this is what he wanted to do. This was his passion. And like I wanted to help feed that fucking fire, I guess. But yeah, there was a lot of good times and bad times over the years with the band, and I don't know. Like I think it's better now that we're older and more mature.
Do you think
there's
there
a lot of dumb shit that went on back in the day?
Do you think there was like a
Drama.
turning point that was like, all right, you know, like things are better now. Like things are gonna be good, and like I like this.
Like
You can say no.
yeah. Fuck, I'm way too honest. So there was a turning point, and I think the turning point was most recently.
That's good. That makes me
Like,
happy.
Since the most recent, yeah, I'm starting to feel again like there's hope for the band, and so is Alex and all this stuff. But yeah, at one point I kind of was just like over it, and so was Alex. But every time he wanted to quit the band, I told him not to. Like, you do not need to quit. Because I feel like once, unfortunately, to bring this up, like once Steve left, he kind of was just like, fuck, like that's just everybody that I started with. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was originally, like him and Steve were the original members.
And especially since, you know.
So once Steve left, he really wanted to quit. I was like, no. That's not going to happen. Like, you can still do this. Like, So, yeah.
And it's cool that they still have such a close bond, too.
Yeah,
you know?
they're doing the Geo meat bag shit. And
I think it's a lot of, like, everyone has to kind of grow up in their own way sometimes. And it can be discouraging, you know, when, like, me and a lot of my best friends, we're really different. Like, my best friend that I know since I was 5 years old, like, he's gone to NAU and graduated college and done all these things, you know, been in frats and whatever. And I have not done any of that shit, you know? And it's like, no, we didn't, like, maybe we weren't supposed to do those together, but, like, the things that we do apart, like, sometimes bring us even closer together.
Right.
You know? Something weird like that, for sure. And I think, if I had to guess, like, Meatbag and Gio have a very special bond that's, like, brotherhood, for sure, family. And it was really cool to just know that they are still just homies, even after Meatbag had to take a new step in his life, his career, his family, you know, and we're all really proud of him and what he's done. And, you know, he didn't abandon us. He wasn't like, fuck you guys. He went and took like the next step in what it is to be a drummer and a musician and a performer.
Yeah.
And like, now we're just trying to follow him. Like, we want to be like that.
Dude,
like,
Steve is a fucking badass, dude.
Fucking beast.
He's a musical fucking genius. Like, plays the drums, plays guitar, fucking sing. He's like that fucking musician that everybody wants to be, and it's like, fuck you, dude. Like, you are so fucking talented. Like, you're amazing. So honestly, I've noticed it seems like he goes for more of things that are gonna get him push him up higher, which is great. He deserves it. He has the talent. He has that dude is crazy, dude. Like, in a good way. Like, I don't know. He can fucking shred on guitar and fucking play the drums like a fucking
and sing like a motherfucker. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And it was cool too. Like, if anyone was gonna prep me up to being squared for this long too, I'm really glad I got to do it with like Meatbag behind the kit, you know, and then like learn songs with Gio because, you know, me and Meatbag, when we were playing together, I just, you know, I'm rhythm guitarist and I pull out some solos and shit. So like I'm just jamming with Meatbag most of the time is what it felt like, you know, and so I just feel like, you know, between him and Freddie Bedoya. And Rundown Roommates, like, I was just prepared for the fucking world. Like, I really was. Like, two of the most talented guys that I've always had behind the kit and always had my back. I feel like they were teaching me as I played with them. It was crazy, you know? So, I love the way Squared is going right now. I'm a huge fucking fan of it, and I'm really excited to write more. I'm writing more with Rundown right now, and it's been hard to balance, like, between, like, Squared, Rundown, this, and a life that I have. But it's been a really fun roller coaster. I gotta say that for sure. And being with Gio on stage, I love singing with Gio. I love playing with Gio. Like, you
guys are amazing together. Like, you feed off of your shit.
Before we leave this whole thing about Meatbag, like, I just want to say, like, from the perspective of like the outside looking in, you know, obviously, like, you know, Silva, you're in the band. Veronica, you're married to Gio. Like, you get to know what's happening on a day-to-day basis, whereas, like, I find out through third parties of, like, Meatbag's leaving Squared and, like, he's no longer going to be doing things. And just to watch you guys fully support everything that he's doing and, like, see where Squared's at now with, like, the new fucking lineup that they have, see what Meatbag's doing with the projects that he has going on. It's just seeing that love that's there is really, like, heartwarming for somebody on the outside looking in.
Well, I think we need it, you know? Like, you always hear of bands breaking up over some dumb shit, and there's nothing too dumb about, like, why anyone left, you know.
Like, I've always loved Meatbag, but me and him fought like brother and sister. Like, we had a love and hate relationship. I don't know if he feels the same about me, because I am very, like, opinionated, and I'll fucking speak my mind, and I'm very truthful, and I say shit that I probably shouldn't, but that's the thing. Like, we're opposites, but, like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people don't like me because I have a big fucking mouth.
You should be in a band too, then. You should fucking...
No, but, like, literally, like, I felt like he was a brother to me, like, after the years, obviously, when we kind of, like, connected here and there on little levels, but it's sad to see him go, and it, like, I don't know, we haven't seen him in a while, but it was sad to see him go, I should say.
Yeah, I'm sure
he's gonna come back around, I'm sure, to hang out, I hope.
Well, I've got to hang out with him a little bit, and I've had him on here, but I think
we just all live so far away. Like, we all live in the same state and the same, like in the valley, but everything's, like, we live way the fuck out in Avondale. Everyone's
you guys
in
live
Phoenix, so
the way the
like,
fuck out somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, that's for sure. You guys are, like, on the outer rim of Saturn, it feels like, sometimes. Yeah. And, like, not to say, like, Payson wasn't, you know, but at least you guys are next to the freeway. You got it, you know. Yeah. It's just a little bit of a journey.
I gotta, like, go to that room over there.
Yeah, go take a piss? Yeah, I got to take a piss, too. We'll take a quick pee break right here. And we're back. and we peed, and I feel better. Do you feel better?
I feel much better.
I feel much better.
Because
Cheers.
I was like stiff there for a minute.
Ooh, that's not good.
I had a cramp in my leg.
So, where were we? We've been playing shows. You've been doing podcasts. We've been talking about all sorts of sexual things.
We kind of went way off topic from like the whole point that we've been on this.
This whole podcast
Welcome to the
is
Rundown with
yeah,
Silva.
This is the whole podcast for
All
sure. Where do you want your... So, you're seeing growth already. I'm sure you can already see growth in your podcast.
Oh yeah, my husband's just blossoming every day with those hormone shots in his dick. I'm seeing growth.
Different growth.
I meant your podcast.
This
but
is why I do the podcast I do. Like I said, anytime I fucking think of something, it's perverted.
do you inject something in your husband's dick?
I
And
should.
can I have some?
Steroids.
Dick
Steroids.
Dick steroids.
Or
Dude, can you imagine?
I tell
if-
him, hey, babe, you need to do some cock push-ups.
that's I can do like I don't know
Tenacious
25.
D status.
I can probably do 25 in a row or something like that. In the morning before breakfast. After breakfast, like I could bump that up a little bit. More proteins, you know
Because
what I mean?
you do know, like on Tenacious D, if you do a lot of cock push-ups, it helps you perform better, like musically.
Push-ups in the power slide.
Exactly.
It's-
Cheers.
Cheers.
To Tenacious D and their fucking dumbass movie. 'Cause it's the
Do you know
best.
do you know what movie we watched last night that still fucking holds like a lot of comedy and everything to me is 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh, yes.
40-Year-Old Virgin. And it's like so good for like all of like the one-liners for sure. Like all the one-line and like they're so like minuscule. They're like ridiculously minuscule. So like Andy, you know, like it's not about sex, it's not about butthole pleasures. And he's like and Andy, you know, Steve Carell's just like, it's not about butthole pleasures. Just like looking really awkward. I'm like, that's the line. Like
Dude,
My favorite thing about that fucking movie though is like when they do the whole chest waxing scene.
oh yeah, it's
They-
all real.
Yeah, they actually
Yes,
did that. So
when he's
every reaction
bleeding.
that you see from like Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen and all that shit, like that's them actually reacting to what the fuck's going on.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so genuine.
So that movie actually made me fall in love with Seth Rogen. I'm like, oh, he's the
Do you know what's
sexiest
crazy?
man on earth.
Do you know what else I thought there too is like, cause you know like they show all these like gnarly pictures of Seth Rogen and how he looks now and like how he looked then.
Is he skinny now?
Yeah, he looks
I don't
good.
even wanna see
Well,
it
he
then.
looks good now, but like I was watching For Real Virgin. I'm like, you're not even out of shape here. Like in Zack and Miri Make a Porno, like you see him like out of
Yeah.
shape and shit like that. You know, a little thicker and whatnot. But like he looked good there, and then
Yeah.
like he looks good now.
I mean, have you seen him in Freaks and Geeks?
I don't think so.
So that was
No.
like him like super young.
How young?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna pull up a picture so you'll be able to see.
But I thought Homeboy was actually pretty stacked. Like he looked pretty thick
no,
actually. and
40-year-old virgin. I was like, I love this fucking man. He's so sexy.
he was
Like his personality in it and everything. Like, see, like to me, like he's not sexy right there
But
because I don't have
that's
a
what I'm saying,
beard. But
that's
I'm
a
not
young
like
Seth
into
Rogen. Like
everyone. It depends on the person with the beard. I just
Can
explained
you
this
can
to
you
my
put him
husband.
on the one in 4-Year-Old Virgin?
yeah, I get you.
Like
Yeah.
I do not like a beard on my husband at all.
I wish I
hate
could grow
it.
one.
Well, when you're
Can
an
Gio
adult-
grow one?
But
Can
I
Gio
don't-
grow a beard?
I don't hate beards, but he's a
I
little
can't grow
patchy.
one. I can't grow one.
He's a little patchy, but I make him shave it.
I
I'm
should be
that
made to
asshole.
shave
no,
mine.
I don't make him, but eventually he gets to a point. I'm like, babe, like it's just not coming in that good. Like it's kind of embarrassing for you because I know you're trying to be all manly about your fucking beard.
Dude, mine looks like fucking
And like you
pubes.
just can't do it, babe. I'm sorry. But I'm being honest. That's what I'm here for. You know what I mean? Like
Yes, we are here to be
I
honest about
can't.
Gio.
I'm not gonna be like, hey, babe,
Dude,
call
look
you
how
out
good
like you
he
suck.
looks here. Look how good he
I
looks.
think a lot
here.
of it's the
Yes.
tattoos though. Like the tattoos really like.
But
work
it's
with
not that. It's his personality in this movie is what got
him.
me with him.
I can see where you're coming
It's
from
his
with that.
personality
Mm-hmm.
and just body language, everything. Sexy motherfucker. Also, fun fucking fact is, I used to work at a place called Movie Gallery back when like Blockbuster was a thing. And I used to be able to take all home the movie posters, and I had the 40-year-old virgin on my fucking wall at like 19. So there you go. When I was 19, I'm 34 now. So do the math. But it was the fucking cover of his fucking, what is it, Steve Carell? Is that his name?
Yeah. He's
his dumbass. That was on my wall, a big ass fucking poster. And I remember I had the House of Wax poster too. That one was a cool looking one. I think it was Paris Hilton's.
He goes, what does he say
it.
in the movie? Like, oh, what, Cal? You think some girl wants to sleep with me because I went to Magic Camp or because I'm a third-degree yo-yo master? Oh, do me, yo-yo master. I want you to do me because you're the yo-yo master. Like, that's one of my favorite fucking lines in that movie.
Obviously, you knew the whole thing, and I thought I was like reliving the fucking movie
you think
right
that's
now.
impressive?
Watching
Watch
it.
Ace Ventura with Silva.
Oh my god,
The
you
second
and
one.
Alex need to watch that together.
Oh, bro.
Gio, sorry.
Dude, me and Gio, if we could, like, not get nailed for copyright, I would definitely quote that movie with him in, like, real time. That'd be hilarious.
What is that fucking movie? Player One or
Oh, Ready Player One?
is that? It could be the wrong one, but it's like basically they like work in a hotel and like no fuck.
The
What is the
fucking
movie I'm
what?
thinking of?
Hotel for Dogs?
That dude that you're just talking about, the Yo-Yo Master dude,
Steve
and then
Carell?
there's like a dude that no, fuck. I'm solely thinking of something else. Never mind. It's just Veronica / Natty just drawing a blank. So never mind.
That's some schizophrenic shit.
Mr.
No, that
Mosey?
shit. No, literally every time I do a podcast, I'm like, I can't think of it. Fuck, I'll bring it back up later. Cause
What
can't
made
think of
you?
what I'm thinking of.
What made you want to take up? I mean, like, kind of this. Can I call it like an alter ego? Is that like a good description? I mean, not going by yourself, and you're going by Natty, and you have this whole other.
This is a good question.
A whole other persona, because I'm that really like struck me for a second.
Okay. So I started doing photography like here and there, and like I always wanted to do just like models, like women, like fashion, whatever, like just basically chicks posing, because I think women are beautiful. Obviously, I said I was fucking bi earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So it started with that, and then but I had a lot of people that wanted like family photos and maternity and blah, 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 and like I was just like, fuck, dude, like I'm not happy with this. Anyways, I had a lot of models like lined up to be like, oh, well, hey, like we will set up a time, and they'd always cancel on me. Cancel, one after another, and it was bullshit. And like I got to the point where I was like, well, fuck, dude, like I have all these fucking ideas or things that I want to do, and I know I'm not going to cancel. So I'm going to go out and look for photographers and start modeling on my own. So it went from me like taking my visions and like putting it, instead of me being behind the camera, being
In front of it?
in front of the camera. There, I say on the camera. In front of the camera. So I started doing that, and some stuff like I was like, oh wow, like, oh, that looks good. I was like, but I was super nervous every time. Anyways, so I started doing so I had my photography that I did on my own, and then I started doing like my modeling thing. So I had like this thing separate from Veronica. So it was like, I'm going to do Natalie Rose, which was like my Instagram, and I'm going to start posting these like sexy pics or just anything with just me modeling, because that's not like me normally. So I'm just going to do this different thing. And the weird thing about the whole name is Natalie is my grandma who passed away when I was 12's middle name.
Sexy.
And then my little sister, who's like a year younger than me. None of this is sexy. It's kind of morbid. And then my little sister, who actually my mom was giving birth to on my first birthday, we would have had the same birthday. And, like, you would have had another basically Veronica in this fucking world, but a year apart.
And this is what you named your porn podcast off of.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of morbid. But, yeah, it was also her fucking middle name. So Natalie Rose is my grandmother and my little sister's middle name that are both deceased.
Is this like a kink I don't know about, or like what made you come to this? Did it just flow naturally?
I just couldn't think of anything that would be like a sexy name that it wasn't like fucking weird. Like, oh, I'm gonna be Baby or Candy or like a stripper name.
I got you.
So like Natalie Rose, I felt like that is like a normal name. It's a cute name. That's gonna be my modeling name for my Instagram for pictures.
So you wanted to be appealing.
So then I guess. Yeah, like I just didn't want to go by Veronica Giordano because I already had my regular Instagram for my life with my kids, and then I'm doing these modeling. Like I ain't gonna like.
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
put my modeling shit like with my kids.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You don't mix milk with whiskey, for sure.
Exactly. So.
Right?
Definitely.
So that's where that came. And then when I ended up doing the podcast, I was like, you know what? Gio actually gave me the idea was Naughty by Natty from that. Because I was like, what do I call myself? Do I say Veronica? Like, I had all these crazy ass names, like, you know, that went with Veronica. But then, like, one day he was like, Naughty by Natty. And I was like, thinking about it. And I was like, dude, I was like Naughty by Nature. Like the fucking, because I'm always go back to fucking old school shit. And I was like, dude, that sounds like Naughty by Nature, like Naughty by Natty, Naughty by Nature. And I kept thinking about it, and then like, I was like, boom. And then that's where the intro comes from. Mm-hmm. It's a Naughty by Nature fucking song with Naughty by Natty.
Yeah.
So it just like,
I love
that's where it went from.
I love it.
So, yeah.
How do you, I mean,
Or came from.
what does it take to expand on this? You know, you're making Facebook groups, but like you must be constantly trying to branch out to people to find these different lifestyles. Like you're looking for different lifestyles. That's such a crazy journey.
This is the messed up thing. Like, is I feel like there's so many closet kink motherfuckers in the AZ punk scene. That's why I like originally put it there. Like, I know our friends in the punk scene.
Right.
I know they're there, and that's where it came from. It's like, come on, guys, please. That's why I keep saying anonymous. Like, I will not tell anybody about your shit. Like, I won't even tell my own husband. Like, if you want to be anonymous, 100% anonymous, whatever. I just want people to fucking come out, tell their fucking story. Like, I can read it, or they can be on it, or whatever. Like, just give people like a more broaden people's minds to where, like, because what if like there's so many people out there that are curious about things and they want to try them, but they're too afraid to try them, and then if
And then
somebody
you go
else
to the
comes out
grave
and
with
talks
being
about
afraid, like, or not knowing.
yeah, just
that's
like people
another
that
thing
are
too.
like gay for their whole lives, but they pretend to not be gay like forever, or they marry a woman and they're like, well, I'm just gonna like fucking be this person that I'm not for my entire life and be unhappy forever. And then just smile and act like everything's fine when really deep down inside they're not. And that's, I feel like, where a lot of suicide comes in from. Like comes from is because
they just feel out of place with their desires.
they're not fucking happy. Like they feel like they can't come out to their family, they can't come out to their friends because they probably heard like one person say like, oh, like this, like what you were saying earlier, like, oh, this motherfucker, like, he's a fag, or like, like this dude likes to take it in the ass. Like, whether it's a joke or not, or people shaming shit, like kink shaming, you get one whiff of that, and then people are like, fuck, well, I'm definitely not going to go to that person and tell them that I'm gay, or I like to fucking,
You know.
get pissed on, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
whatever. Like
Yeah.
I don't.
No,
like,
for
I like
sure.
to fuck dogs.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, that's a little extreme.
That's
or
super extreme.
necrophilia.
Yeah, no, that's super extreme. But that's
Necrophilia is like the biggest one. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't understand that one.
Okay, so I was gonna ask that question.
Out
Like,
of all
is there
of them.
any kink that you like completely are like, nope, fuck that, like, don't see the appeal to it whatsoever? Like,
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of kinks like that for everybody. You know what I mean?
that's what I'm saying. Like, but specifically for her, because she just talked about this whole positivity behind of like,
I
you can
wanna-
be anonymous and come out and speak your truth and like say the things that you're into. But is there anything that you're specifically like, nope, fuck that, not doing it? Like,
I want to say the ones that I'm not into, but like I don't want it to like
Limits your
deter
audience.
people.
Yeah.
But okay, the biggest ones that I feel like is necrophilia. Obviously, necrophilia,
can I
bestiality, and somebody trying to fuck their like children.
Can I? Well, those are yeah.
Those are like my top three. Like, you have any kinks outside of that? Cool. It's fucking weird. And maybe not, but whatever. Like,
Let's
I can
rephrase
be
the
down for
question a
that.
little bit, because like let's rephrase the question. But are there kinks that you want to understand more that you don't quite understand? Because there's some that like I would like to like
Understand or try.
both. Okay, so I'll tell you right now, like those dudes that dress up as the ponies and shit like that and do all the pony play. Okay,
See, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm
what?
not into that, but like
Never heard of that.
I would like to understand it. You know what I mean? Like I think it's interesting.
stuff like that. Like, I'm not gonna shame anybody for doing some shit like that. But like again, like the whole like
If you're not
bestiality,
hurting
I'm gonna
anybody.
shame somebody for that shit. Like
I will shame anyone that's fucking children or underage people. I'm sorry, but these kids do not
We should
fucking
shoot them.
deserve to be
Absolutely.
put into that fucking
They're fucking
situation because
disgusting
they're
creeps.
children. And yes, like honestly, like kids when you're little, like you get a little like brush on your crotch or something, like, oh, that feels good. But then when you have a fucking grown ass adult, like getting to the point where they're like,
It's
oh,
terrible.
it's fine.
It's disgusting. It's
fine.
terrible.
Because everyone at some point, babies, toddlers, kids, they know obviously if you touch yourself, it feels good. But when you have somebody like sitting there like that's a grown ass adult like manipulating you
fucking
to
terrible.
feel good, that's bullshit.
It's fucking
Like
terrible.
no, you go and find someone your fucking own age or somebody that's old enough. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
you
That's-
do all your kinks, but don't fuck with kids,
Don't
dude.
fuck with kids.
You're gonna
dude.
ruin them for the rest of their fucking life, and they do not fucking deserve
That goes so
dude.
much further, you know.
Like 100%.
Yeah, and you know, I'm sure
Male, female, I don't give a fuck.
it's terrible.
Children.
Absolutely fucking terrible. It's disgusting, really. You know.
Sorry, that got like really serious, but
Well, you're a mom.
no,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
no, like,
you're
you
a
have-
mom.
you have
like that's
attachments to this.
Yeah, that's a very real and relevant feeling
it's
that
not
you
even
have.
like maybe even before I was a mom, but now that I'm a mom, like it's even more because
it hits close to home.
a lot of people have dealt with that, and I feel like there's a high percentage of women in the entire world that has experienced some bullshit as a child, and there's a high amount of men that have experienced bullshit. Like you would think it's just more women, but no, there's a lot of men out there that have been fucked with as a child too, like sexually, and
You hear about it all the
I feel like
time.
more women talk about it than men, but like there's reasons for it. So whatever, like it doesn't matter. All I know is like, sorry if you're a fucking perv listening to this and you're a piece of shit.
Don't apologize for that.
You can fuck
Don't
off.
apologize
but
You definitely don't have to apologize.
I'm not
to
trying to
piece of shits here.
apologize, but it's just like I don't know. I hope there's nobody out there listening at this point, but I only say sorry because like I've gotten a lot of shit about guests and people kink shaming because we'll joke or laugh or say something and people are automatically like, oh, they're kink shaming us, they suck or they're assholes, and I'm like, that's not even what the podcast is about.
Can we talk about like that for a minute? Because I think this kink shaming is like not necessarily like a gray area, but it can become that, right? You know what I mean? Like, so when we talk about things on this podcast, for instance, you know,
Instance.
yes, thank you.
Instincts.
When we are instinctively talking about but we
Sorry.
talk about like desires and reacting to them and all sorts of shit like that, you know.
Yeah.
And there are things that we don't get, but like if you're not hurting anybody, you shouldn't shame them, you know. Like
Yeah.
some people are into pissing and shitting and being a dog or a pony or being in a furry outfit, you know.
But this is what I don't get. Like, is shaming like, oh, haha, like fucking you're a piece of shit. Like you're like gay shaming. Like you're gonna kill them or beat them, or is it like, can we agree to disagree on stuff? Because I don't understand where the kink shaming is. Like I can be like, oh, that's
So-
fucking weird,
Hold
and
on,
like
Justin,
I
hold
don't
on.
know why I would do it.
So
So where do you draw the line?
so this is where I like listen, there are things that you don't understand, right? So like if you
Yeah.
don't understand, like you really don't need to say shit, you know? Unless it's like terrible, like when it comes to like you were saying like children and necrophilia and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like obviously that's fucked up. That's some
Yeah.
fucked up shit that
And bestiality.
yeah, thank you.
That's kind of fucking weird.
Forgot
too.
about that one, but also, you know, don't
Yeah.
hurt the dog. But
Don't let
when it comes to
don't let the horse hurt the
yeah.
girl.
But when it comes to other things,
kidding.
we watched the Your
bad.
Mom's House live podcast, and that's a pay-per-view podcast, right? So at the end, they have a heavy segment. We saw at the end of this heavy segment, you know those like disabled toilet seats, like where they usually like put a bag or something.
Yeah, you can just,
So
like,
yeah,
take it
so
everywhere.
these two dominatrixes were sitting on it, shitting in this guy's mouth and whatever, right? Super nasty. Then this girl like switches with the other one, right? She's got a tampon string hanging out of her fucking vajay.
Does he grab with his teeth?
Grabs it with his teeth, and she's like, "You fucking chew on that." He pulls out his bloody tampon and is like in his mouth. He's strapped up and stuff. And she goes, go ahead, tell him. He's like, I want to be here. I'm like, I want to be here. And he's got a bloody tampon in his mouth covered in shit. It's disgusting.
I'm sorry, but I'd rather chew on a bloody tampon than get shit in my fucking mouth.
Well, he
Just
had
saying.
all three, like piss, shit,
Nope.
and bloody tampon. But like, he's not hurting anybody, right?
When it comes to something like that, like that's consensual.
Yeah, it's not-
If it's consensual, that's understandable. Like
Exactly.
If it's consensual,
Yes.
then you have your kinks. That's fine, whatever.
Yeah,
The
and
moment
like,
that it gets outside of that, that's when it's wrong.
of course, and like that's gnarly, right? Like that's gnarly. But like he's not hurting anybody. I'm like, to each their own. And not a lot of people used to say that back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, people did not say like to each their own. Like, you know, as long as you're not hurt. They didn't say that. They
The
said like, if you're
different
not like
strokes,
us.
different strokes for different folks.
Different strokes for different folks. Yes.
No, you're different
I think that was
stroking
like
different folks. Oh,
It's
forgot.
different
Folks
strokes
like
for
the
different
strokes
folks.
differently.
Fucking-
But no, like, you know, that dude is like to each their own, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what that guy has been through in his life, but if he's doing that so he doesn't go on a shooting rampage or rape somebody or like, I don't know.
That's probably why people do the crazy shit they do,
Oh,
because
of
they don't
course.
feel like they're accepted because they hear all this kink shaming and this
It's
gay
gotta be
bashing
crazy. Like
and all
it's,
this shit.
It's gotta be tough. It's
Because
gotta be
nobody's
super
allowed to
tough.
just be themselves without getting fucking tore down.
Well, you hear it all the time. Like when a guy's like, "Yeah, my girl puts a finger in my ass," like you're gay. Like it's not a dick. You know what I mean? Like for one, and like she's
There's
a female.
literally a gland in there for fucking pleasure.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know what I
but see,
mean?
and, like that's what it's like. So if we want to take this back to like when, like the beginning of the conversation about like what's kink shaming, what's not. Silva's pretty open about the fact of like, hey, slip a finger in every now and again.
Thanks, Justin.
Hey, dude, I don't give a fuck. But I'll sit there, I'll look at this man, and I'll be like, yo, that's gay. But like as a friend making jokes, like I don't consider that gay bashing. But if I'm somebody outside of like Silva's personal life, and I'm to come at him that way and be that like aggressive about things, then that's when I think we get to the bridge of like kink shaming. Like you're demonizing people for something that they're into.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Like demonizing you for something that you're into. That's
So, like, if somebody, like what we just talked about, like this dude's getting fucking shit on and pissed on or whatever, like, is it kink shaming for, like, oh, that's fucking gross? Like, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I think it
Is
depends.
that
on the-
kink
I think
shaming?
it depends
Hold on,
on the
Justin.
relation. Okay.
Is that kink shaming if you're like, oh, that's fucking gross, I'm not into that? Or is it more kink shaming if you're like, oh, you're fucking a piece of shit and you're disgusting for doing that? That's where I'm saying, like, where is the thing?
Yeah. So I think you hit it right there. You know what I mean? Like you're a piece of shit for doing that. Like
Yeah.
says
So you
who?
have to literally be like telling them, like, oh, you're not.
Mhm.
Like, just like being gay. Like, oh, well, you fucking are a piece of shit because you're gay or whatever. Is that kink shaming or?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely
So,
fucking
like,
right.
but kink shaming is not like, oh, well, that's fucking cool. Like, but I don't fucking like that because that's fucking weird. And, like, maybe you can talk some shit about it, but you're not, like, literally, like, saying, oh, well, if you like that, then.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't consider that kink shaming at all.
Yeah.
I think the moment that you turn it on the person and try to make them feel bad about it, that's kink shaming.
Okay.
You know, and I also think it depends on like the relationships between the people. Again, like you know, whatever the fuck I'm into, Silva can make fun of that, and I'm gonna be like, okay, we're boys, like that's whatever.
You know who's the perfect example right now, it seems like, is the furries. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, when you heard about furries, like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You guys
I
are
don't know what
dressing
that
it.
is.
The furries? Justin, can you look up some...
I'm already on it.
Thank you. You never seen the... Okay, dude.
Wait, I got a question.
Yeah.
Do the listeners like hear him talking to us too?
Oh,
Yes, they do.
absolutely.
Yes, yes. So we're
Okay,
not
I'm
because
live,
we're just
baby.
like listening
No.
and then like nobody.
Yeah, we know a lot of people just...
She was just whispering that to me. She's like,
Why are they being weird?
Yeah.
because she
Yeah,
watched-
to our audience back here, eventually we're going to get a little speaker that is, like, very minuscule so, like, people can fucking know.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are furries right here. They dress up like mascots and they go, like, bowling, but they also do some, like, sexual
They go
shit.
bowling is
Well,
what you said.
so there's,
No, they
there's-
do, like,
there's-
events. Like, they
There's
go,
two
like...
different sides to furries.
Oh.
You have the furries that just want to dress up as animals and they have this alter ego, but then you have the sexual side of it where people dress up like animals and they fuck each other.
Well, I mean, it goes, like, hand in hand. So, like, it starts off with, like, a...
better than like actually fucking an animal.
Scroll some of these pictures right here, if you don't mind.
But how is that comfortable? Like
Oh,
you
it's
can't
not.
even
They're
see
sweating.
anything,
Oh, no,
or-
they're sweating their dicks off.
They
in
are
there.
sweating.
I've actually done photo shoots with people that are like dressed up like this cosplay, and now I'm wondering, like,
Well, this
did
is
they,
so
like,
much
bang
different.
Each other? 'Cause
So
that's pretty cool.
this is so much different
That's
than-
cool. Like,
Yeah, this is so much different than cosplay, because when you do cosplay, like, you're going after, like, an anime character, or, like,
no,
something...
like the cosplay shoot that I've done is like it's these furries and like people dressed up like cosplay, but it was all mixed into one. And I was like, can you imagine like some furry fucking a sexy like Sailor Moon bitch? That would be hot to watch. Just saying.
You know what? I feel you on that. Okay. But the crazy thing about these furries is like each one is their own, right? So like you go up to one of these furries and they ask you, they're like, oh, what are you? Like, well, I'm a kind of like a fox and like a dog mix and like I'm this. Like everyone is different, when you do cosplay, like I'm this character, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm Sailor Moon.
This is their own persona.
This is their own persona that they've like put time and dedication into like making this costume. They're like, well, I'm a fox weasel, or I'm like kind of this squirrel character, or I'm like this lion.
Do you notice that? There's a lot of foxes in
the
there.
Fox thing.
Dude, my big thing is, you notice Lucario right here?
Can we get a zoom?
I see one like
pretty heavy zoom.
Australian
Oh, well, that's not gonna fucking work at all. That picture just gets fucking real.
Okay.
But right there's Lucario.
Oh, really?
Yeah, hands down.
There is Lucario.
But when it comes to the fox, that you say that now, Veronica, is that it's very relevant in like Japanese culture and anime.
Yeah.
So there's a Ninetales Pokemon, there's Ninetales Naruto, and they're all based off fox. Like a lot of things in anime are based off of fox, and I'm sure that 99.9% of them
I
are
love
anime.
Ninetales.
I didn't think I would ever
And
see.
Vaporeon was my favorite.
Oh, the water evolution of it,
And then
right?
it was a little fox.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Weird.
Eevee, right? Something
Eevee
like
and
that.
then Vaporeon.
The Eevee to Vaporeon, you got to use the Water Stone. But do you ever see furries for Trump?
I have never seen.
I don't
furries
think
for
I would
Trump.
ever have seen that.
That's impressive.
You're
Dude,
gonna get taken down for that.
guy in my
How?
head, you're the best. Like the shit you come up with, dude.
So
Have you seen furries for Trump?
I want to ask you
Also,
this.
guy in your head, way to learn my fucking name.
Justin?
I can't believe I
Thank you.
actually just opened
Appreciate
2
that.
beers.
That's your name
doofus.
from now on. Just
Guy in my
You're
head.
Guy in my
Guy in
head.
No,
your
fuck
head.
it. I'm down.
Because the
CJ's
audience over here looks like we're
CJ from the couch,
schizophrenic.
guy in
CJ
my
from
head.
the couch, guy in my head. I got it. I'm down for it.
Don't worry about it, CJ from the couch.
But I gotta pee again.
Hey,
And it looks
you know
like
what?
you need a smoke.
Well, yeah, let's just go ahead and wrap it up. We've been going for over an hour.
Okay.
Like, let's just.
We're
You
almost
want
at
to
an
wrap it
hour
up?
and 30 minutes right
There's
now.
one thing I want to ask you. I know you got to pee really bad, so I want to ask you 2 things. Okay.
All right.
First thing I want to ask you is, since you've done this podcast, is there anything that you would recommend to couples?
I would say be more open-minded and do research and kind of look out there for things that both of you guys would love to do, because honestly, like, there's so much shit out there, and like, yeah, I would just do some research and just like, I don't know, like, it depends. 'Cause
Explore more is what it sounds like.
Yeah, because everyone's different. So, I mean, if you're like directly asking me something about something, then that'd be one thing. But
Does that go along with like being open too? Because like it sounds like being open, like with your part.
yeah, have an open mind. There you go. Open mind and just explore things, because there's a lot of shit out there that might just completely change your fucking entire life, and the way you think about sex and the way you feel about your body, and just how you feel about yourself. Like, it only takes one little tiny snippet of something to build someone's confidence, and that is having an open mind. And like, you can find something that's just gonna like literally blow each other's minds.
V, Natty, Miss Geo, what are the links? Where can we find you?
So my email is naughtybynatty@gmail.com, and then also I am on all podcasting streams like Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts. You
Excellent.
know.
Yeah.
You know, because you say it on yours. Like, it's all the podcasting streams, because I use Anchor to like distribute my shit.
Shout out
So,
Anchor, huge sponsor of the show.
Yes.
Only sponsor of the show right now.
Yeah, like, I'm making money because of Anchor. So whoop whoop. If you want to make some money and record from your phone, which is so easy, or your fucking computer, like, yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on. Seriously. Cheers to you, okay? Let's take a drink.
You too.
Well, thank you everyone for checking out this episode of The Rundown with Silva. This is Natty from Naughty by Natty. My name is Tyler Silva, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye, everybody.
Yeah, the rundown with Silva. The rundown with Silva. The